Okay, this is the real start of the meeting. So, thank you all for making it here tonight on a kind of cold, rainy first day of spring. My name is Andrew Hahn. I'm president at Kalamazoo Downtown Partnership, and we've got a lot of information to communicate here to you tonight. Again, I want to thank you for being here. We had a really big last year in 2018. So we created the new Downtown Economic Growth Authority that secured $60 million to invest back into the district over the next 30 years. We moved our organization, changed our name and our brand, and brought 76 new people in as part of our leadership network to help inform the work that we do to grow downtown in partnership with all of you. We had $90 million in investment that was broke ground last year in downtown, and that was on top of 50 plus the year before. We have activated Bates Alley last year. Very excited about more work like that coming. Jeff Chamberlain here in a minute is going to talk about some exciting work that the city is going to be doing this year and has already taken some steps that are really long-term wins for the community. And we're going to be working on some new public space and infrastructure investments this year. I think many of you remember last year was a very challenging year when it came to navigating downtown. We're going to have some challenges this year as well. They will not be as disruptive. Did you find the right spot? Okay. So I want to mention that our organization is really committed to helping do everything we can to make sure these impacts are minimized on residents, on businesses, and on visitors downtown. So we have a number of different things that we're going to be doing throughout the year. We're going to be sending out regular updates in coordination with the city and the team there. Last year we did 10 different workshops helping our small businesses develop for do professional development. We're going to do that again this year and continue to do some marketing and advertising, communicating to the community and beyond that downtown is indeed open for business. So that's kind of the negative side, but I want to remind everyone too that 500 plus new residents that will be coming to downtown in the next 18 months or so. Each one of them will spend about $10,000 a year within walking distance of where they live. That's $5 million a year that's going to get spent within walking distance of downtown and in downtown that wasn't here. So there is long-term gains with some of the short-term pain. We know that can be challenging to wait, but I do want to paint that positive picture as well. These are the people that are going to be your new neighbors, your new customers, the people that have eyes on the street and make our downtown a safer and more welcoming place to be. Also, I want to let everyone know we are always open to new ideas on how we can help make downtown better generally, how we can lessen these impacts on you as resident, visitor, business owner. Please reach us anytime. I will be here. Our team is here. We'll be here after the presentation. Our office is right in the corner of Michigan and Portage. Please drop in and see us anytime. So a couple super quick housekeeping things. Coffee and refreshments in the back. Restrooms right around here. The City of Kalamazoo is going to present on their projects. Our friends from Consumers Energy are going to do a quick presentation as well. And then afterwards, we're going to have a little bit of an open house format here in the back where the utilities, city, and 3 of our local developers, Catalyst, Plaza Corp, and ADB Hinman will be here to talk about their projects and answer questions if we have them. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Deputy City Manager Jeff Chamberlain.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And again, happy spring. Welcome. I'm going to talk about a couple of things that are non-construction related for just a couple of minutes, real quick, because I know you want to talk about construction projects. So if you go to the city's website, it's www.kalamazooCity, all one word, .org/projects. So kalamazooCity.org/projects. You'll find this Google map, and most people know how to use a Google map, and so we've put it onto a Google map. And you can go there and you can check out our projects that we've got going on. For the most part, these are related to the city and consumers for right now, and we're updating the projects as we get start dates and construction dates. But you can click on a project and it will pull up some information about what the project is, and if we have the estimated start date and the estimated conclusion date, you can find that right there. So we're trying to put street projects and some of our other capital projects such as park improvements and things like that. So you can go here. I've zoomed into the downtown, but if you zoom out, you'll see the city as a whole, and you'll see the other neighborhood street projects. So just as a piece of information, this is there for everybody to access, and we'll keep that updated throughout the year. Other two things I just wanted to mention is this January here, just a couple months ago, we, the city of Kalamazoo, took over the MDOT streets in downtown Kalamazoo. We call it the jurisdictional transfer. We took over Michigan Avenue, Kalamazoo Avenue, Park, Westnedge, Stadium Drive down to Rambling Road, King Highway down to Mill Street, and then Riverview up to Gull Road. And so those now belong to the city of Kalamazoo, and we are now in control of operating them. Not a whole lot has changed on those streets since January, obviously. This year, we are going to be doing a very intensive community design project with primarily those streets downtown. We're going to be talking very specifically about two-way streets. We're going to talk about the area down by Western Michigan University. So where we are right now is we've got the roads transferred to us as of January. We're negotiating and working with a traffic consultant to finalize a contract to help them help us work through the community participation end and the actual design and traffic modeling. So during this first year, you won't see a lot of changes, but we will be doing those public meetings to get your input on the design of Park and Westnedge and Michigan and Kalamazoo and all those. So look for more announcements on those streets and the design projects coming up here throughout 2019. It'll probably be all year long. And then finally, I just want to mention that earlier this year, the Kalamazoo City Commission passed a new ordinance that is very much geared toward pedestrian safety. And particularly in the downtown area and the campus area, that's a very big concern. It is all over the city, but we know we have a lot of pedestrians in the downtown area and the campus area. With that new crosswalk ordinance, that we call it, it basically makes it very clear that for unsignalized intersections, the cars have to stop for pedestrians. So if a pedestrian is walking through the white crosswalk, the cars have to stop. And so we are now working with James and his crew, and we're also going to be launching a public education campaign. There's our first flyers on this table about that ordinance. So we'll be rolling that out, and that ordinance goes into effect officially June 1st. So some of the examples, just the ones that I use as an example, think of the intersection of Rose and Academy, right there by the Comerica building in Bronson Park. It's got a white stripe across Rose Street, but there's no signals, there's no stop signs. So in that example, cars would be required to stop for pedestrians as to get into that crosswalk. And we'll have those obviously throughout the city. And then over the next couple of years, we're going to be working on signing and putting more signs at different locations, not only downtown, but throughout the entire city to let people know that pedestrians do have the right of way as they enter those crosswalks now. So tonight I want to introduce James Baker, who's our Public Services Director. James has been put in charge of a multi-million-dollar capital campaign that we have for the city of Kalamazoo of capital projects, not only streets, but also water, sewer, and just pretty much anything else. We have a Hey James list that we give to James whenever something that the city of Kalamazoo needs to deal with. So I'm going to turn it over to James, and he's going to walk us through. So let me switch it over. And Dave, you need to talk from here. We don't have a clicker.
Okay, I'll just come over and talk from there. All right, thanks everybody. So we've got a lot of, as Jeff alluded to, we have a lot of projects going on in the city. But our focus here tonight, what we want to talk to you all about is really those projects downtown. What street projects are we doing that are going to have an impact on either downtown commute or downtown businesses? So we're going to start out with what we call our local street program. And those are programs that we're coming through and doing repairs to local streets, either mill and fill, mill and resurface, and some of the other more involved street work. So we've got 3 streets that were what we call our mill and fill streets that are maybe not necessarily completely in downtown, but they're close enough touch that we can kind of consider them downtown. We want to talk to this group about them. Those 3 streets, Cedar, John, and Walnut, those will be done from July 8th through November 15th. And some of those streets you'll see our lead service crews on there ahead of that time in the curb lawn areas and in the parking lanes, removing lead services and lead service blinds. So that work's not starting until July, so that those lead service crews can get in there and do that work. And if anybody has driven down Walnut Street here lately, they'll know that it definitely needs it because it is really rutted up and really difficult to go through. Our next street that we want to talk about is Rose Street. Last year we had a very involved project that focused on utility reliability and in the water side and both on wastewater side. All that underground work is done, but we didn't finish the top side work. We had coordination with the Exchange Place building, coordination with traffic control with MDOT, and really our goals last year were to get the underground work done, bring it back up to a drivable surface, and then open the street back up so that we would minimize those impacts to everybody. We're back on it now. That project's actually restarted this year, and we're coming through and we're just finalizing all the hard surface work. So you'll see there's going to be 4 bump outs at Rose at Michigan. So those are actually where the sidewalk comes out past the parking lane to make things easier for pedestrians. And we're also doing the ADA ramps at Water Street there. So we're out doing that work right now, and when we're done, we're going to come through and put a final 1.5 inches on the top surface. That street is 1.5 inches low right now, so we're going to finish that off, and then we'll put new paint down and paint it. We've got 2 more street projects that those impacts are not as severe. We want to talk about them. They're not on my slides, but the Kalamazoo Mall, that's Burdick. We've got 6 locations where we've got snowmelt leaks that we need to come in and repair those. We don't have that scope defined for timeline yet. What we're going to do is we're going to be working with DKI, some of those business owners that are down there on the Kalamazoo Mall, and we're going to look at our schedule from summer, fall, looking at the whole season, and we're going to try to pick out some time periods where the work is not going to be as obstructive to everybody. So we're really looking for some input on that. So that we've got to define that scope yet, and we'll be using our projects map and keeping everybody updated through that. That projects map that the deputy city manager showed you, that's going to be your go-to information for city street projects or city projects overall in general, and that map will be updated in real time. The other project we want to talk about is the improvements we made to Pitcher Street. We got everything done except for the new mast arms installed for the new traffic light that's there. So we've got a work period between April 15th and May 3rd where we're going to be coming in and setting the mast arms. So when those mast arms are getting set, we're going to either have a directional closure on water or directional closure on pitcher, but not both. So our goal is to maintain either water traffic or pitcher traffic, and then we'll be completely out of there by May 3rd.
James, can I ask a quick clarification?
Yes.
On the mall, that is pavers, correct? That is not in the street?
That's not in the street that we know of. So with the leaks are kind of hard to trace down. We discovered them when we first fired the system up back in November, and then we closed the valves and isolate them. So when I say leaks, it's not out there leaking right now. We shut the valves off to isolate it, and we're pretty positive that most of that's up in the brickwork or potentially in the parking lane, but we're not completely done with scoping. We don't 100% know exactly where everything is yet. So from a presentation standpoint, we're not ready to tell you exactly when that work is going to occur. We're going to kind of come back to the group on that and plan that out before winter.
So likely not the street being closed. That would. I'm not trying to give you a commit.
Right. Likely not, but the mall is a challenge. The snowmelt system's a challenge. A lot of times we go into this, it's not our intent to close the street, but it's challenging on the mall. It's a really limited space to move traffic. We don't have 2 lanes. We've got about 12 foot, so if we've got to have trucks or equipment there, sometimes we just block it all out. But we're open to. We did some things last year. We did some night work. We did some transitioning hour work where we were in the morning, then let off, then we're in at night. So we're looking at all those alternate delivery methods to try to get something that works for the business owners down there as well. So transitioning now, we've got some MDOT work that's going on. That's MDOT's going to perform that work. The two major items, Kings Highway, thank goodness that's getting done finally. That's going to be a mill and resurface all the way from M96 all the way over to East Michigan. So that whole portion of Kings Highway is going to get milled and resurfaced. Traffic will be open that whole time. Everyone's just going to flip over and they'll mill, and then everybody will flip back over. So you'll run both directions on one side or the other. The East Michigan Bridge, that's the bridge over the Kalamazoo River. There's deck work that has to happen on that bridge. That period is from August 5th through October 18th. That, from a traffic shift standpoint, is going to be the same thing. There's 4 lanes on that bridge. We're just going to put everybody into a single lane, so there'll be a single lane eastbound and a single lane westbound. They'll do half the deck, then flip everybody over to the other side, single lane eastbound, single lane westbound as well. Now, the big thing with that, if you have trucks that are coming on Kings Highway that turn right onto East Michigan, that won't be allowed. They're going to have to, if they come up East Michigan, they have to take Mills over to Pitcher and Pitcher up and back through. So those, truck deliveries, if you're into that kind of thing, pay attention to this because this does impact truck flow and truck traffic. Regular vehicle flow isn't affected there. And then this is just a smaller snapshot map of some of that work that we talked about. This is just a point-and-place CAD drawing. This isn't interactive, but this just does give us kind of a background of some things to talk about. Again, that city website, that's the go-to source for information. So I can take a few questions if anybody has any, and then, yes, Patty?
I'm curious about the mall work. Will you be including DeVisser Alley in those repairs?
I don't believe so. I don't think we've got, do we have active snow melt on DeVisser?
You do, and it's not working.
It's not working, so we'll check into that. It might not be working because we valved it off.
Yeah.
Or it might be not
We've
working
done
because
work on it
it's
a couple times.
leaking. So
Valved off for a few years.
we'll check into that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
We've been maintaining, trying to just keep the snow and
Yeah.
the ice off of them because our residential enters right
Yeah.
onto the alley.
And some of that is we want to make sure we got cooperation and exchange moving traffic before we, so those are some of the complexities of that traffic work is trying to make sure we can still move folks around and everything. So.
But there's no vehicular traffic on DeVisser Alley.
Okay, it's all pedestrian. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. So with that, I'll turn it over to Consumers Energy, and they're going to talk about their projects downtown.
Hi, everybody. My name is Derek Knopfs. I am the new Government Relations, Community Affairs Manager for Kalamazoo County. Van Buren and Allegan primarily is the territory that I cover. So many of you may remember Dennis McKee, who was here previously. Dennis has a new position within the company, and here I am. So thank you very much. I know I've got to know quite a few of you. And I'm sure I'll get to know many more as I work with consumers in this new role. So thank you very much for, I know we've had, a number of projects over the past year. We're going to have a few more this year that you're going to hear about. Thank you very much for bearing with us. I know it makes an impact on the downtown and all the various activities that we do. But we love economic development. We love seeing those cranes in the sky as much as everybody. We love plugging more people into the system. And a lot of these projects you'll see are in support of, upgrades for a lot of the increased traffic and the increased, building mass that we're going to have downtown here. So you'll see that we are supporting a lot of the good work that's happening in downtown Kalamazoo. Our team is here in the back, and they're going to be around afterwards to answer questions. Our team works really hard to try to help, minimize those impacts. At the end of the day, after these projects are done, we hope, again, they're upgrades, safety, reliability, things like that we're always looking for to upgrade the downtown. So I'm going to kick it off. Kalamazoo is one of the largest, so we have this is a combined service territory, so we have gas and electric both. It's one of our largest population centers with both of those things, and both projects are going to have projects downtown this summer. So I'm going to kick it off first to the electric side. Jeff Floyd is going to come up and tell you about the electric projects downtown this summer. As Jeff makes his way up, again, I just want to say thanks, everybody, and we continue to work with our partners at the city and downtown Kalamazoo to help make this a great summer. So,
all right. Thank you, Derek. Good evening, everybody. Like Derek said, my name is Jeff Floyd. I am the system engineer for our electric underground infrastructure in our downtown areas. I have a team that oversees all over the state, and certainly right now Kalamazoo is one of our busiest. I have 2 team members over there, Phil Ziemba and Stephen Wilkerson, who will, again, get into more specifics later if you have those questions. Is there a clicker here? Or should I use the keyboard? Just keyboard? Okay. Really, we have 5 truly major projects to enhance and upgrade, and per our motto, energy you need whenever you need it, here in downtown Kalamazoo. One of our smaller things is to provide service here to the new Bronson Laboratory that is being constructed currently on the corner of John and Lovell. This is one of our smaller of the 5 major projects. We're coordinating with Bronson Hospital to get that service in there. It sounds like the city has a road paving job. That was a little news to me, but we can definitely coordinate our restoration time, so we're in there ahead of time to minimize the closure of the road there and from people trying to use John Street to turn on to Lovell Street there. Second is to 400 block of South Rose. That's the new ABV Hinman apartment building. We are, again, this is what I would call a smaller project, a little bit more of a hindrance for traffic. We have a existing electrical manhole in the intersection that we need to basically tap into and bring the ductwork down to where we're planning to provide the electric service for that facility. So again, we're working with those companies, Hinman, and with the city to, once we nail down a better timeline, we'll communicate that out to the residents and everybody there. 303 North Rose, this would be for the proposed Hilton Garden Hotel. That was the Plaza Corp development there. That is will be along Rose Street with a crossing to our electric service there as well. Again, working with those, we'll have a better timeline later on in the year when this will truly happen. Right now we estimate later on in the year there as well. This is the most, I guess we'll call it current project that will be happening first. This is on East Lovell Street right there at Portage. So we have our Lovell Stub Station just off that road there. And with all this growth, we had to do capacity increases to our duct system to allow for new electric circuits to be brought down the road. So we actually are going to start that next week here. It's our project. So we will be doing a lot of the duct work is in the sidewalk, so we anticipate we'll be able to allow 1 lane of traffic. We'll try and shoot for 2 the best we can. And you will definitely see our contractors out there soon. Lastly, partnering with the Catalyst Development and CSM Group is the overhead lines that are currently on Edward Street will be buried, and upgrades are done there as well for added ducts along the Whiskey Alley there. So again, a lot of this stuff that Derek mentioned, it's a great problem to have, but a kind of a pain as well. You know, the city's growing, which is great, economic development, cranes everywhere. Sadly, power doesn't just magically, wirelessly transport itself. So we do need to get those lines into the ground. Apologize for the temporary inconvenience, and we hope to, be a partner with all these developments here. So, lastly, I just wanted to say, with all of our projects, there's two parts. We have a civil and an electrical. So the civil is kind of the real big shovel. You'll see guys putting conduit in the ground. The electrical goes a little bit more streamlined. All they have to do is open one manhole from here to the other and pull the cable. That, will have some temporary closures, but that's the less intrusive part of our projects this year. So, on top of that, there's a few little minor projects that pop up. Street lights for the new Exchange building, be done by consumers. Again, I think there's been talk of a couple different, like a charging station on Burdick or somewhere near the mall. I think that was more by the State Theater. Yep. So already we're looking ahead for 2019, and I'll be in the back along with my team if you have any other questions afterwards. So we'll have our gas folks come up next.
Yeah, Kyle Oak from the gas side is going to give us a quick update too. Hello, everyone. Similar to what we did last year, we're moving along. Starting at Davis Street from Cedar, moving from west to east. Our crews will be moving across, replacing gas lines and services again. And then also our crews are started here at Lake and Race, and they'll be moving north into the west, replacing gas mains and gas services along the way. We expect to do this work they started last week, and do plan to do this work again until roughly October, end of October there. You'll see miscellaneous lane closures. Shouldn't really see any street closures at all or complete road closures. That's really all I had.
So that's Portage Street on the right.
Yes,
right?
that's Portage Street on your right.
And then the top is kind of level, right?
Yes, correct. One thing we will be doing is getting ahead of Portage, or the City of Kalamazoo's work to replace some of the street in Portage ahead of their work next year. So we're trying to plan everything together with all other groups. But that's all I had. If anybody has any questions, we'll all be in the back. Derek?
Yeah, sure. We can get to a lot more specifics. This map's a little tough to see blown up, but
We have another copy of it back there.
yeah, we've got a copy back there.
I just have a general question. For the city, you can go to /projects. Is there anything with consumer energy that we can go to see what the projects are?
So that will be on the city's website, right?
Correct.
Consumers projects too.
So, the consumer,
We put
okay.
the main ones on, like where they're going to be closing down, for example, the intersection of Pitcher and Portage and Lovell, where that intersection, we put the major ones on there. We did not put every single gas line project or electric line
But the
project.
major ones are on the /projects?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I think the main thing about the gas project once here is most of the work is going to be south of Lowell Street this
Correct.
year.
Yes. Outside of the main downtown business district.
Other general questions for the group, and again, we'll all be here for as long as we need to be, so if there's anything for the good of the group.
Are the gas projects in the street or the right of way or both?
They're both. Mostly in the road right away and in the individual buildings.
So I have one last thing I wanted to add. On the business side, for our business customers, we do have an updated business communication plan. Megan is in the back here, and she helps out with communicating, sort of regular changes to our business customers. So look for that this year. Yes.
I might have missed it, but can you make this PowerPoint available to the participants in this meeting?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, we will post it, we can post it online afterwards.
Thank you, Christina.
Other questions? Hang out, have some coffee from Rose Gold Coffee. Chat with us. We're here. Several of the mentioned developers are here to kind of talk about their projects. So thank you all. We're available anytime. You need to get me or one of our team. Hit me up. I got a card. Visit us. Good things this year downtown. Thank you.